her glasses and I see Miss Angie. So just saying.
It's me.
Okay,
I'll be
thank
running
you.
the executive portion, so
Okay, right, there you go. I had it backwards. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, can we, are we ready to call this meeting to order?
one more minute, Miss Deb.
Okay, not a problem. Just let me know.
We're all set.
Okay. Hello, Miss Elise. Let's see. Okay. Okay.
We're all set to go.
Okay, welcome everybody to this evening's meeting. Thank you very much for coming. Truly miss seeing you all. Can we have at this time a roll call, if I'm not mistaken?
Yes, ma'am. Chairwoman Ray,
Okay. Present.
Vice Chairwoman Dorita,
Here.
Mr. Cohen. Mr. Cohen is absent. Miss D,
Present.
Mr. Fontaine,
Present.
Mr. Rankin,
Present.
Miss Swearingen,
Here.
Miss Fivile.
Present.
You have 7, you have a quorum.
Thank you. We also have present is Miss Jillian Baker, is that correct?
Yes, I am here.
Okay, thank you very much. I thought I saw your name. Okay, can you please, Madam Clerk, pull up the agenda so we can follow through? I should have pulled that up.
Would you like to do this?
Tired. Thank you so very much. Has everybody seen can everyone see the agenda?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Madam Clerk, would you please read the first item on the agenda?
Item number 1, discussion regarding Providence Police Department Policy 360.10, Intelligence Assessment Database.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to turn that over to Susan, and she can give us an update and we can discuss what we need. Susan, Vice Chair, please, you have the floor.
Thank you. Tina, can you screen share that letter that everybody can see that?
Or give me one moment.
Okay. Thank you. So I can, if everybody would like me to read this, might not be able to see it for people who are attending. Madam Chair, would you like me to read the letter?
Please do. Thank you very much.
So these are some of the questions that were brought to my attention, and I did send them over to the police department. And so these are the answers. As you can see, it's on their letterhead that were given. So the first question, what type of list or tracking is being done currently of anyone suspected of being a gang member? Their response was, we are not currently utilizing any lists, database reports, memoranda, or other documents to currently identify or track any members of the public as members of any gang. As previously stated, the intelligence assessment database is currently inactive and has not been used for intelligence purposes since July 19th, 2019, the date the prior version of General Order 360.10 was rescinded. This status will remain until such time when the operating software can be updated to reflect the criteria contained in the General Order 360.10 that was reissued on February 11th, 2020. And I can just add that general order, you can find it on the police department's website, along with all of their different policies. Next question was, how do you define a gang member versus family against family vendetta? In light of the current violence, how are you keeping track of everyone and their affiliations and targets? Their response was, we will define a gang member as it is defined in the updated version of General Order 360.10. If individuals involved in so-called family vendettas fit within the definition of a gang member in the current version of General Order 360.10, such individual could, when the intelligent assessment database is functional, be considered a gang member. There is no separate definition per our policies that defines a family vendetta or an individual involved in a family vendetta. Next and last question was, why have we not purged the data that is contained in our gang database? Any data that has been included as of July 19th, 2019, and that remains is considered outdated intelligence due to the changes to the inclusionary criteria as is reflected in the reissued general order, and therefore has not been used for intelligence purposes or as an investigatory tool related to gangs. When the department is able to update the operating software to reflect the new criteria, the data will be reevaluated to determine if it is appropriate for inclusion in the updated database based on the new criteria. Absent additional information or evidence consistent with the applicable ordinance, old data will be purged when the new software is updated. As to why the information contained therein has not been purged as of yet, it makes little sense from an efficiency standpoint to sort through the old data without a repository to place it. For example, the new updated software program, in the event an individual still qualifies for inclusion in the database. As such, the data contained therein has essentially been frozen in time and will be reviewed and purged as appropriate. And that was it.
Thank you. Does any board members have any questions, any comments at this time? I can't see y'all, so.
No, I don't.
Okay, thank you, because I couldn't, there you go, I couldn't see y'all. All right, if we don't have any questions or comment at this time, then I'm going to ask the clerk to please go on to item number 2 on the agenda.
Item number 2, discussion regarding professional development for authority and city council members through NACO.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I was not able to be in attendance of that meeting, but Susan Rita was. So Susan, can you update the board and the community on where we're at and where we're going?
Not much has changed since our last meeting. We did receive a proposal. We have not had a meeting of those that were present at that meeting to discuss what the next plans are, with the exception of everybody had agreed at the last meeting that we need to wait for an executive director to be in place before we schedule any type of professional development for the authority and council members.
Okay, so let me ask this question of the board members. Does any board member have any questions besides me? Hearing no response, then I'm going to say I have a question. I want clarity. So when we have this NACO training, it will not just be with the whole board, it will be with the city council people as well. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. Since does anybody else have any questions or
Is it every city council member? And if it is every city council member, is the city council paying for those individuals to receive that training, or is para responsible for the payment of those individuals receiving that training?
My, I'm sorry, go ahead, Susan.
Okay, from what I saw on the last, on the proposal that we received, it wasn't a
Okay.
person cost. It was for just training as a whole.
Okay.
So
But would it be the entirety of the city council, or is it certain committee members, or?
From what I understand, everybody would be invited to participate.
Anybody else have any other questions or comments? Okay. Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, our next thing, number 3 on the agenda.
Item number 3, discussion regarding filing a complaint and status of current complaints.
Board members, I brought this up or thought about this because I needed to know what is currently happening with any complaints that are being filed or processed or on our website or whatever, because as we all know at this time, we do not have access to that. We are now working with that with the City Council IT gentleman. I spoke to him today, so me and Susan will go over to 805 Broad Street, see what needs to be hooked up and have that ready for the new executive director when he or she comes into office. But again, I never got my question answered. So I don't want to say where I know the complaints are going to, because right now, as of this day, June 16, 2021, I do not know. So to clear up that factor, if people are using our website or whatever, we do not have any access. If I'm wrong, Susan, correct me, or any other board member or vice chair, ex-vice chair, please correct me. We don't have access to that as of yet, but that will be coming very, very shortly within this week, or at least by next week. Susan, I see your hand. Please speak.
Thank you. So the only preliminary information that we were able to get was that since, and I'll just kind of go back. So as of August 25th, when we had the last complaints that were presented to us as an authority, there was a total of 43 at that time. Since August 25th, from what the preliminary information that they could gather was that there was about 24 complaints that were filed, but some of those might have been duplicates. We haven't, like you said, we have not had access to see exactly what those complaints were, whether they even pertain to the ordinance. So that's something that, we're looking forward to seeing and addressing those people who filed their complaints.
Has any other board members have any questions, comments, or statements on this factor?
I have a question more or less for Jillian, I guess, but is the statute of limitations gone? Like, can we even hear those cases that are in, let's call it purgatory? Do we have any access to that? Like, is there any remedy that we have for those folks, or is it that time is gone?
So the ordinance does have a time frame by which everything needs to be heard and followed through with. So I guess that once you guys do have an executive director, you can reach out to those people who have filed complaints and let them know that we were sort of in a state of limbo for 6 or 7 months, depending on however long it takes to get the executive director in and going, and explain the situation and maybe have them file their complaints again. But yeah, there is a time frame by which everything needs to be completed in the ordinance.
So they can refile. I was just making sure that there's some sort of remedy if there was not a remedy. Okay.
Yeah, the ordinance, I don't have the ordinance in front of me, but to my recollection, there is not like a prohibition on them refiling or I don't even know what would happen if you were to not hear their complaint within the certain period of time. Like, I don't know that off the top of my head, but I can certainly look into it and let you guys know.
Okay. And is there, from my own knowledge, and maybe this was covered somewhere else, is there some sort of statute of limitations for an individual to file a complaint after an incident with an officer or with the police department?
Not within the ordinance, no.
Okay. I just didn't know if like legally there was
Yeah.
either for like this aspect. Okay. Thank you.
Not that I know of for like this type of thing. Obviously, to file a suit in court, there would be, but not.
Right. That's where I was
not for-
wondering.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jillian, my question is, if these complaints are in a limbo, so to speak, that's the term that's being used, and we haven't had access to them, I would imagine that there wouldn't be any kind of statutory limitation because it's almost like they were never filed in the first place. So, or they're just being submitted for the first time once we get our hands on them.
Well, I
Correct?
guess we would have to take we'd have to take all the complaints, individually, I guess. I don't know if I don't know how or anything is being collected at this point. Like, I don't know if IT is able to, like if Jose's email is still active, but we can't have access to it. Like, I just don't know the IT portion of it. And I don't know how people's complaints are coming in. But if they have been received, and I use that, word with air quotes, in some fashion, it would trigger the time frame in the ordinance. So we would have to address them on a case by case basis and just see where they are and if they were technically quote received.
Okay.
It's hard to answer that question without knowing how information is being maintained and stored.
I understand. I'm just saying that if, regardless of when they were submitted, how I think it's like 180 days, regardless of if that time amount is elapsed, if we haven't had access to review the complaint, I believe it should be considered that it was just submitted when we get our hands on it. Almost like an infinite postmark.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I don't have a definitive answer right now for you, but like I said, we can certainly take a list of complaints, kind of how they came in, when they came in, and look at them on a case by case basis. But certainly, we're not looking to preclude people from having their complaints heard and addressed, especially given the circumstances that we're under right now.
Understood. Thank you very much for that clarification.
I have one more question, not for Jillian. What is the status? So that's the status of the active, inactive cases and things like that. What was the resolution with the mediator and the investigator? Are they still on staff? Like, are they air quotes, or did they quit? Like, what's the status of that? Them.
If I am not out of line, we received a legal document saying that Mrs. Eugene no longer wanted us to say anything about him in regards to what happened. I just received some documents on some other cases that we had asked for back in December, and it just now came to me 2 days ago. So I really don't, at this particular time, have an answer directly for you, Ms. Elise, or any other board members. But as to see fit, Jose Batista was the one who hired them. And they may have failed, or they have not responded back to us, either legally or not legally, whether they still want to be a part of this power board. But the reply seemed to be that no longer wants to be a part of this board. Okay, my internet connection is unstable. I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. I apologize.
Can I just jump in on this?
Who's jumping?
So it's Jillian.
Okay, Jillian, jump.
So two things. One, this item is not technically on the agenda, so I would like to tread lightly and maybe put it on the next agenda. But I will say that there is a contract. The board does have a contract with him. So I think that we should move away from this discussion just because it is not on the agenda, and maybe put it on the agenda for next week and have a chance to take a look at the contract at that time, and we can discuss what we want to do moving forward. Or, you know, what remedies, if any, anybody has. But I think we should move away from this conversation just for today's meeting.
Thank you very much, Jillian. You are truly correct. So if we get that information at least, and we will put it on next month's agenda because we do not have that information at this time. Thank you, Jillian. Is there any other comments or statements or questions that any board member have at this time? Okay, we're real quiet. Okay, Madam Clerk, can we please have you go into item number 4 on the agenda?
Item number 4, discussion and possible vote relative to the selection of an executive director. The Providence External Review Authority will go into executive session pursuant to Rhode Island General Law 42-46-4 and Rhode Island General Law 42-46-5A1.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. So, ladies and gentlemen in the audience, as well as the board member, we will now take a roll call, I believe, to close this session and then to go into executive session. Am I saying it correctly, ladies, or am I out of line?
Need to make a motion, Ms. Ray. Someone.
I was gonna say, I'll
Someone
make a
needs to
motion to go in executive session.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
By a roll call vote, Ms. Deb?
Okay. Yes.
Chairwoman Ray?
Yes.
Vice Chairwoman Dorita?
Yes.
Mr. Cohen? Mr. Cohen is absent. Ms. D?
Here.
Mr. Fontaine?
Yes, let's go.
Mr. Rankin?
Yes.
Ms. Swearingen?
Yes.
Civilay?
Yes.
You have 7. Vote is yes. Okay, so if you can all leave this meeting and join the executive session meeting, I will see you there. And we'll leave this meeting open for you all to return.
Thank you. Okay, now we gotta leave this. Get out, get out, get out, get out. It says leave, Deborah. Leaving.
I think you're on mute, Miss Ray.
Thank you. Hi. Okay, I'm back. Okay, that was much better. Okay, so sorry.
All right, so
I
now,
turn it over to Tina to do
so we need someone to make a motion to come out of executive session.
motion to exit executive session.
Second.
Seconded?
Yeah, by me.
Nicolay?
all in favor?
We'll do a roll call
Roll
vote,
call.
Ms. Deb.
Okay, please do.
Chairwoman Ray,
Yes.
Vice Chairwoman Dorita,
Dorita, you're on mute.
Yes.
Mr. Cohen. Mr. Cohen is absent. Ms. D,
Yes.
Mr. Fontaine,
Yes.
Mr. Rankin,
Yes.
Ms. Swearingen,
Yep.
Ms. Fitherley.
Yes.
You have 7. You're out of executive, sorry. We are out of executive session. Now we just need a motion to seal the minutes.
So moved.
Seconded.
I'll second that.
Elise.
Madam Chair, all in favor?
I'm sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion made and carried. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Is there anything else on the agenda?
There is not, Madam Chair, we would just need a motion to continue item number 4 to Tuesday, the 22nd.
Motion to continue item number 4 to 6/22/21.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? So moved. Okay. All due respect to the public, Tina and Miss Angela, is there anybody out there who want to say something at this time? We'll give them, we're good. We'll give them a few minutes.
There are no hands raised as of the moment. We have 2 attendees. Don't know if either
Okay.
of them would like to speak. They could raise their hand. No, Madam Chair, no one raised their hand.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. If there's nothing else on the agenda and we are all closed, I would like to entertain a motion to close.
Motion to adjourn.
There you go.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? So be. So be. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Smile. Y'all are so beautiful. Smile. Thank you. Have a good night, everybody.
Good job.